All right. I'm Congressman Dana Rohrabacher, R-O-H-R-A-B-A-C-H-E-R. I represent the 48th Congressional District, California, which is coastal Orange County. With that introduction, I've just completed a briefing and tour of the ICE detention facility here in Orange County, which they are cooperating with, of course, the Orange County Sheriff's Department. I'm gratified at the professionalism that I saw here at this facility, and we have to not take that for granted. The courage and hard work of the people of ICE and the other people who are trying to secure our borders and trying to stop an onslaught of illegal immigration into our country. Their hard work and dedication protects each and every American, and that the Democratic Party yesterday and the day before have been maneuvering to try to, number one, eliminate ICE. That's number one. But number two, even when we presented a bill that simply commended these brave people, these hardworking people, for the great job they're doing in protecting us, the vast majority of Democrats couldn't even get themselves to vote for that. This is a disgrace. It's an insult to these people that I visited today who are doing such a good job in trying to protect us and trying to make sure that with this onslaught of illegal immigration is brought under control. So I'm proud of them. I told them that. I was very pleased at the way, I was very, very pleased at the very professional way that I saw, whether they had hospital facilities here, they've got libraries, they've got ways that make sure that at least people are being treated humanely, and as much as possible that people are being treated humanely, because even if someone's here illegally, we're not going to beat them up, and we're not going to treat them like they're animals. So we're going to have to treat them with love and concern in our hearts. But our most important love and concern is for citizens of the United States who are now seeing their country inundated by people illegally, and money, billions of dollars being drained away to take care of somebody else's need who's come here illegally, when that money should go to take care of our own people, whether they're veterans or seniors or young people with their education or whatever those issues are. So I would hope that my friends in the Democratic Party understand that what they voted for yesterday was basically a declaration supporting open borders, because they're going to leave us defenseless against millions of people who would come here unless we have a system with ICE and a system of border control that can actually bring this invasion of our country by illegal immigrants to an end. And so with that said, I'll be very happy to answer any questions that you have got.
Congressman, what do you think about the idea put forth by some senior ICE agents of splitting the agency into immigration enforcement and law enforcement?
You know, I'm not an expert on how to do that. I'm coming here one day and actually overseeing what they're doing from a distance, which I've been doing in Washington, doesn't give me the expertise. I'm open-minded towards hearing their position on that, and they didn't talk about that today. So I would be very open-minded to what they think would work best.
Sir, are there any juveniles at this detention center?
No, there are no juveniles at this detention center, and there are a large number, 50 women, I believe, and about 70 men, and how many? 200 men, okay, and 200 men, and but there aren't any children.
Are there any parents who have been separated? I'm sorry.
Are
there any parents who have been separated from their children at the border at this facility?
Not here. I don't believe that any of these women have been separated from their children. Most of the women that I saw here were Asian women, and I don't think that they were caught at the border. That they are here because they're here illegally, and they were apprehended in some small crime some small crime.
Congressman, a lot of the criticism from the Democrats regarding ICE has revolved around the separation of the families at the border. Would you describe that as humane, or how would you? Yeah,
this is a political maneuver. That their only complaint was issued in order to try to hurt President Trump, which is what they've been trying to do in everything he's done. That policy started under Obama. These very same Democrats never could get themselves to complain about that when Obama was president. No, this is the Democratic Party should be ashamed of themselves. They end up making political hay out of things that Obama's doing that's exactly what that Obama's doing that is exactly what they're now complaining about Trump carrying on that policy. Well, Trump didn't even carry on the policy. It's been changed now. So I think the politics going on in Washington is disgraceful when it comes to the security of our country here, and the trying this effort to get control of our borders and get control of this flow of humanity into our country, which will bring down the quality of life of the American people and put us at risk. I mean, the Democratic Party has gone so far on the issue of immigration, they can't even get themselves to vote for a resolution commending, backing up these brave defenders and these people who are dedicating their lives to controlling this flow of illegal immigration into our country. That's got to change. I hope the American people, when they go to the ballot box, take that into consideration. Whose side are they on if they're not on the side of our protectors?
When it comes to American safety, the Republicans, in regards to the Russian interference, they voted down a resolution that would have placed blame on Russia, condemning the comments from President Trump. Yeah. Republicans voted against it. How do you respond to that?
Well, I respond that I don't think that this again is an example of how the Democrats are doing their best to transfer public attention away from their disgraceful lack of support for securing our borders to some nonsensical issue to try to change the issue of the day. I'm not going to try to change the issue of the day. You should be ashamed of yourself for bringing that up when we just talked about something really important. We'll talk about that another time. I've talked about that a lot. I have, but I don't plan to make news and have you distract the public attention away from this grave threat to their well-being.
Congressman, you are running for re-election. You are a public official. There are no conditions on your talking to us today, so I am going to ask.
There's no conditions.
Your name has come up.
There's no conditions. You can ask whatever you want.
Your name has come up in connection with the woman who was indicted, a Russian woman, in connection with the Russian.
Yeah, I think you should be ashamed of yourself for trying to divert attention onto another issue.
Ask you a question.
Wait a minute. Don't argue with me. You're not. Are you up here doing the press conference? Who do you represent?
KABC Radio.
Okay, and they teach you at KABC Radio not to let someone make his case and interrupt him? Is that what they teach you? Is that what they teach you? Wait a minute. You don't get a chance to argue with me. You can ask me whatever you want, and you can ask a follow-up question if you want, but you don't interrupt the guy. That shows you the type of arrogance that I'm talking about. You're gonna get a story about Russia rather than the security of our country at our borders, because that's what you want to do. I don't have to go along with that today. I've had hundreds of interviews on the issue of Russia, and you guys should be ashamed of yourself by trying to focus away from something that is very important to our security and safety of our families and draw it back to Russia about whether or not Donald Trump colluded with the Russians, okay? That's been talked about a lot.
The first questions were all directly related to ICE, and you are an elected official, and you are at the center of many hot topics in America.
I've been available to the media, and I've talked to media all over.
Rather than spending this time debating, I didn't hear an answer.
No, the answer is I'm not going to make news to let you guys take attention away from something this important. I can talk about it in the next few days. Fine.
Is the Russian story not important enough as well to national security?
It is not. The Russian story is being covered over and over and over again. American people are getting sick of being inundated with that when there are real legitimate issues at play, like the security, like the Democratic Party's efforts to undermine our border security and our ability by those people in ICE to actually enforce immigration law.
Sure.
That's a very important issue that needs to be discussed and should not be diverted every single day to a discussion of Russia.
This story broke money.
But a lot of American people are sick today for the people engaged separate from the families. The American people is sick for that too.
I'm not sure what the question.
The people,
yes,
the American people is sick today.
Yes.
Also, for have the kids separate for the families and engaged.
Well, people are in the United States are very concerned about humane treatment of anybody who's in custody, whether they've come here illegally or not, and The fact is that we had a policy by President Obama to separate children and to have the system that the Democratic Party now is complaining about. And I think President Obama has actually made some shifts in that policy, but he's getting blamed for, President Trump is changing the policy that started with Obama. So I think that, again, they're not getting informed because people want to shift all the attention over to Russia and not something as important as whether they have criminals in their neighborhoods because of policies that were set down by President Obama as well.
Sir, what is your position on separating families at the border?
I think that, as the president has said, anybody who gets to the United States and is trying to cross the border illegally with their family should be sent back immediately, not go through a hearing process. They are not. Where's your proof that you can come into this country and then go home with your children? These people, by the way, are bringing their children knowing that that's the policy. It's been the policy since Obama. They bring their children here, and then people try to say the Republicans and President Obama was not even involved in this, and now it's really Trump that's doing it. No, it was Obama that did this. Trump is now trying to change that policy.
But do you agree with the zero tolerance policy, taking it to that step?
I believe anybody trying to cross the border illegally should be sent back to their own country immediately.
What if they're seeking asylum?
Well, you know what we have to do is make sure that we don't have the abuse of the system of asylum that we've seen such massive abuse of asylum. We know that hundreds of thousands of people are being told, just say the word asylum when you get to the border, and then they'll have to keep you for months and months and months. No, we have to rein that in, very much so. We have to make sure that we aren't getting gang members from Central America who come here and are actually part of criminal gangs that wreak mayhem on their own people. We don't want them to come here, even if they do declare themselves, victims of us and demanding asylum.
Sir, have you been interviewed at all by any law enforcement in connection with Steele's Russia investigation?
As I say, I'm not going to. You can try to divert attention.
Well, you did say we could ask anything. I mean,
you ask it, and I'm giving you your answer. Your answer is I'm not going to be diverted today from an issue that's really important.
Well, this is a big issue.
Wait a minute. Hold on. I thought you were going to give me a chance to answer.
You're not answering.
I can answer as long as
you're
not going to be the one who determines how long my answer is. All right? This is the type of thing this is the arrogance of the news media that the public is why the public understands when he says fake news. That's what the public understands. If you ask me a question, don't try to stop me from answering. Go ahead. You got a question?
My question is still the same. Have you been interviewed by any law enforcement in connection with the Russian investigation?
And my answer to that is I am not going to be diverted from an important issue to the security of my constituents and to this country and the safety of this country to try to have a further discussion just today of the Russia issue. I know we've done hundreds of interviews. We're not going to let the public be their attention drawn away from how the Democrats are failing us at the border and failing to keep our country safe by trying to draw our attention to what I consider to be a bogus issue. But nowhere is that bogus issue being more proven than the fact that we have members of the press want to focus on that rather than people whose lives are in danger because we don't have control of our border.
Well, so just clarifying a few things, because there's been some mixed reporting out there. Like, can you tell us, first of all, what you've said that the indictment of Maria Butina is bogus? What is? I'm not going
to have this issue, which we're trying to discuss. Yesterday, the vast majority of Democrats in the United States House of Representatives voted not to back up those people who are trying to secure our border. The vast majority said they thumbed their nose at some of the brave people who are here dedicating their life, putting their lives in danger sometimes to get control of our borders and to prevent this onslaught of illegal immigration. And I'm not going to have every single day have that attention diverted from these important issues. Now, the Democratic Party can continue, their friends in the media can continue to try to divert attention, but I'm not going to participate in that.
How do you see that illegals? How is the condition, the human condition? more of the illegals are Latinos, Hispanics, or is...
Actually, what we have now, and it's very clear by this detention center, that you have a cross-section of people throughout the world, not just our neighbors to the south, but throughout the world, who have come here illegally because they have been told, just mention asylum and you can get in. They've been told this and this and this. So we have now people not just from south of the border, but from throughout the world who are swarming into our country, and again, using resources, education, healthcare, and otherwise, that should go to Americans.
People are concerned about immigration. It is a national security question. Are you not concerned that your constituents are also worried about another national security threat, that being Russia? And again, the importance of talking about it, I think your constituents, you owe it to them.
Wait a minute, is that your opinion?
No, no.
What did you just say at the end?
As a public official,
no, what did you just say at the end? What did you just say at the end?
As a public official,
what did you just say?
As a public official,
yes,
you owe the public your comment.
Well, let me just note, I am not going to be diverted today. I have had overwhelming number of interviews dealing with Russia. This again, the fact that you have to bring that up, again, verifies what the president's been saying about fake news that's been aimed at trying to achieve a political objective, and that is to draw the public's attention away from the real issues that actually impact on their security, and only focus on the question about whether Russia did or did not meddle in our election.
If it's not a real issue, as you say, then why do any interviews? You say you've done, I think, an overwhelming amount with what you said.
Well, I'm just not going to let you guys divert attention every day to that issue. And I think you should be ashamed of yourselves for doing that.
Congressman, this has been our first opportunity to speak to you after any of this, especially in Orange County. I mean, maybe you've spoken to some of the national media, but in reference to Orange County, the area that you cover,
yeah.
Director of National Intelligence, Dan Coates, was surprised yesterday to find out the president had invited...
I'm not going to listen. I'm not going to let whatever I told you. Do I have to repeat? I came here to make sure that the public knew that when yesterday the Democratic Party voted not to back up our defenders and those people who are trying to secure our country from this massive flow of illegals into our country, that is an important issue that needs to get to the public. And I'm not going to let the news media, liberal left in the news media, the fake news, whatever you want to call it, divert the attention of the voters to this other issue. Maybe I'll be around for a few days. Fine, come and see me. I'll be around the whole month of August. Come and see me for detailed. In fact, I think last week and the week before, I had extensive interviews with people here in town. I'm not hiding from anybody, but you guys should be ashamed of yourself for trying to divert attention away from an honest issue like this.
Do you think people think you're hiding? I didn't hear that come up. That's new to me.
I thought that this gentleman was referring to that he needed that the local media needs the ability to interview me, and I didn't hear him use the word hiding, but I did hear that he was feeling that local media is not getting a chance to ask questions, which is, as I said, not the case. Okay, well, I think you got your cuts. Again, when I was a journalist, I know you can ask whatever questions you want, but that doesn't mean that the person doing an interview has to answer the way the reporter wants. And there you go. Thank you very much. Yeah, I was a reporter for 5 years for Pete's sake.
Where?
City News Service, Radio News West. I worked at the Orange County Register for a while and wrote different places for different people.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.